You are now live. That's what they say, that's what they say, that's what they say. Hey, what's up, family? Let's see, how do I want this? Okay, so welcome to Mood Monday. Mood Mondays, plural. It's been a few weeks since I've done this. And needless to say, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back. Wow. A lot to talk about, a lot to say since the last time I've been on Mood Mondays. So I'm telling people right now, like, we can't have enough conversations that are helpful, that are therapeutic, that help us to de-stress, that help us to declog our minds and all that kind of good stuff. So, hope to have some fun conversations tonight. And yeah. Conversations, but I can also bring other people in live as well. So when you join, if you want to go live with me, just drop, I gotta come up with a little code word, but just drop a line in the chat. Because I'm going to be talking about a few things, and I do want to chop it up with a few people. I want being able to say hello, appreciate you, and all that kind of good stuff. So first things first, I'm going to talk about a few things going on with me. Number one, look at this boot right here. So this is a cool ass boot, as you can see, and picked out by my good friend Sherry Goodall. You can look her up at I am Sherry, Sherri Goodall. She does digital marketing. She also is a stylist on the low and some other good stuff. But this is one of the boots that she picked out for me for my photo shoot that I have. That was supposed to happen this past Saturday, but all the things with the world happening didn't happen, but it'll be in the near future. What you think about that style, yo? Second thing is, I just released a new project called The Serenade. And this is The Serenade Volume 4. It is out and available now on all platforms. You can download it on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that good stuff. And The Serenade is basically a concept that kind of picks up on something I used to do in 2014. I used to release an album a week, believe it or not, in 2014. And I wanted to start doing piano serenades where I kind of did the same thing. And now it plays a bit of a double meaning in our lives right now, because I'm starting to do these as live concerts, live stream concerts on Fridays. So this past Friday, I recorded this newest album, which is called The Serenade Volume 4, and it's about 40 minutes of please Google Aaron Hill, The Serenade, Volume 4, or you can look it right up on your platform of choice if you got Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you got. Just look up Aaron Hill, The Serenade, Volume 4. Please enjoy it. Like, I'm putting out music for therapy, right? I mean, it's really where my heart is right now. So yeah, check that out and drop me a line. Let me know what you think. What else we got? So, okay, the Aaron Hill podcast, right? This is something that I'm participating in every day in my life, having countless conversations with different people about many different things, and some monologues and these kind of things. But it's where I've been pouring my life intimately, as far as to know more about me, my thoughts about things, what I have to share, what I have to offer. I do all that on my podcast. I talk about a whole range of topics from A to Z. So you can Google that And I'd like you to hear just all the conversations. I have business advice conversations on there, helping people. I have conversations on there about religion and spirituality and topics of culture and music. There's concerts on there and all kinds of stuff. So, in fact, the last podcast was, I did it as an IG live video. That we had a business chop up, so you get a chance to hear our business meeting in action. So Google that, let me know what you think. I love my loctician. So look up, what is it? At Let's Talk Natural Salon. Had to make sure I get that right. It was a lot of words, a lot of letters in there. At Let's Talk Naturals Salon. Vanessa Nunez. Growing my locks since 98 is when I started. 99 is when I started locking. 98 is when I started. And I've cut them several times because they would be all the way down past my waist at this point. But I've cut them, kept them trim. I kind of like to keep it mid. It's at least between 12 and 13. And highly recommend her. So check her out at Let's Talk Naturals Salon. What else we got up? I'm going to have to go back to see who's in the building. So it's something I put up today. Corona is taking our creativity to another level. Every industry, every person, you know. I had a convo earlier. In fact, hopefully my friend Andrea will jump on here. We can converse again about it. You know, my philosophy is if we have, I've always said this, if we had a green man or let's just say an alien, you know, who you know, we have our split divisions amongst ourselves, but then as soon as another party is introduced, then we draw together because then we see our commonalities. We don't see those things that we saw as different. All humanity, I believe, would just join together. And I said at some point, if we had an alien to visit us, and I painted a scenario like if there was a father who was talking to his daughter about, you know, who he wanted her to date and that kind of thing. It wouldn't be, it's a way of joking, but I'm saying all that to say, like, you know, this corona thing is a virus that is, you know, attacking our species in a particular way. And so right now is making us not only get with everything that we've been dealing with. Hey, I see my friend Andrea in the building. So I'm going to pull you in a few seconds, Andrea. So, you know, with everything we've been dealing with, it's like, it's forcing us to be more creative. It's forcing us to think outside the box. And evolution and change never feels good, but it always equals good in the end because it pushes us to another level. So I have empathy for everybody being affected right now, and this is what we got today. And this is probably what we're going to jump in on, or one of the things that Andrea and I... Back in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Let me... Andrea Yoga. And see, it says waiting. So, yeah, so this is something that we're all dealing with. Hey.
What's up?
There she is.
How are you? Long time no see.
Wait a minute, because now I gotta share my space. Now I'm moving myself around.
Back up. Move over some.
I was gonna say I didn't know I was gonna have to make some elbow room. Wait a minute. Right, there it is.
That's the new coronavirus greeting.
Yo, please share that. Yo, that is too cool. That is too cool. First of all, let me introduce you real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my friend Andrea Pyatt, also known as, in other circles, Julia Bell. We'll talk about that probably in a bit. And yeah,
I have a lot of names.
You do have a lot of names. But then also but you're multifaceted, so you have, there's dynamic there. So look, even your Instagram name, Andrea Yoga.
Andrea Yoga.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
In fact, I'm waving to you even though I'm looking right dead at you. But I'm a newbie to IG, so
Who else is on? It looks like, is there someone else watching? Miss Philly 711. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm starting to see a few people hang out. I was actually trying to get my Facebook thing happen over here, but you know how you this is how you know you're getting old, right?
Speak for yourself.
When you have to like try to remember the passwords for all the different websites. And
so I don't think that is a sign of getting old. I think that's just a sign of just like everything is virtual and everything needs this passcode, and you constantly have to change it because people people will try to steal your password and all that stuff. It's just way too many virtual keys that we need, I think. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know what happened. I'll deal with it because I don't want to be microchipped. Did you see that? I saw somebody was saying that a couple of European nations were thinking about microchipping people, and then all of your information would be held in literally the palm of your hand. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. So this is one of those things, and while we're talking, I'm gonna start sharing the video. Oh, okay, so cool. This is something we could do while we're talking. So we're both newbies to this IG thing. So if you look at the bottom there, you see the little airplane? If we hit that airplane, we could start actually inviting a few people or sharing it while we're talking, and it'll still show our face. So yeah, so here's the deal, right? Okay, so we're talking about microchips, and what made me think about that is if she enters the building, my friend Alice Snow will have a lot to say about that because she's heavy into, these kind of things. And, this is one of those things that, this is what we have been talking about for years. This is what many people have been talking about. Speculation on some side, hype as well as reality put together equals our current reality. That's something that I put on Facebook a couple of days ago. So that's the one thing why I wanted to talk about these kind of things, because it's so much that we're dealing with right now with the change of our society. We are all right now dealing with having to adjust and having to change. And with that comes the fact that we have never in life been through something like this before. You know what I mean? So I have so much empathy right now. I was just saying on a live stream before I came on here, I have so much empathy right now for everybody because of the fact that nobody is exempt from this, right? So we have to come up with as many ways possible to just kind of help ourselves through, in various ways. Dr. E in the building, what's happening, homie? Good to see you, brother. Yeah. So it's just trying to adapt and work with change, right? That's just the
Yes.
name of the game.
So it was interesting because this afternoon, an elder who I respect highly, Dr. Henry Gregory, call him Baba, and he just posted that the ability to, well, I'm paraphrasing the quote, but basically the sign of intelligence is your ability to be able to be malleable, to be able to to move, to adjust, to adapt. That is a sign of true intellect, and it's so true, right? And
Right.
even as a yogi, one of the things people come to yoga a lot and they are often like, oh, I'm stiff in their body, not realizing that the
Right.
body is a reflection of what's going on in the mind and in the spirit, right? So they'll be achy and stiff, and they'll say, I want to get more flexible. And I try to explain that flexibility is not just a physical flexibility. It is a flexibility in the mind and in the
Right.
body and in the spirit. How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself? And when you
Mm-hmm.
are able to be mindful of all of that, your body automatically follows.
Yeah.
So I think this time is really causing people to be mindful of what's going on and to try to
Mm-hmm.
be flexible in how they're viewing themselves and others.
Corona is taking our creativity to another level. Hashtag evolution. Like, I just put this up earlier because of this same thing. I mean, like, this is what it is. The thing is, what doesn't break you makes you. Evolution is not something that's ever comfortable, but it's always necessary. In order for us to be able to adapt and survive, like, we have to be able to adjust to the only thing that's consistent in life, which is change.
It's
And
change.
that's why I keep saying that, like, the most
Yeah.
important thing is to have everybody on the front line that has any positive thing to say, because of the fact that we need to help each other to get through this one conversation, one live stream, one handshake, one wave at a time,
Right. One
right?
smile. One
One
smile
smile,
at a time. Like,
one smile at a
how
time.
about, what I'm really looking forward to, and I don't know, maybe I've been very intentional about it, is that during this
Yeah,
time, I've been speaking. Like old school
right,
speak. Like, remember, I don't know, like I remember my grandmother just used to teach, like, yeah, you when you walk in a room, you speak. Right. And so I noticed that like people have gotten away from that. Like, we don't just acknowledge each other. You don't just speak.
right,
Like, I make it intentional. I don't know if I don't have to know you. I don't have to know your story to
right.
acknowledge and respect your energy and your spirit and to say hello. You matter. You
That's
know,
it.
um,
That's it.
I feel like, as much as we're talking about social distancing, those of us understand
Mhm.
that really is how do we then connect? We have to be more intentional
Right,
about connecting on another level. So, okay,
right,
we can't touch each other. We have to stand 6 feet apart, but my aura is so big that it surpasses 6 feet, right?
right.
So, me acknowledging you and acknowledging your energy, that's oh, I'm sorry. I'm like watching because I don't know how to like say hi. I want to like wave the folks, but I don't know how.
Oh, hit.
Hey, Greg.
So you see on the screen, you can hit the wave button. I've been waving at
I don't
everybody.
think I
Okay,
have a wave button.
you don't have a wave button. All right,
I
so
don't
we're gonna
have a
do
wave
some verbal
button.
waves right now. So I tell you what, this one I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say hi. You say hi, Dr. E, Real Alice Snow, Fluffy, and so these are all the people that I see on a regular basis. Hey, I appreciate you all. Thanks so much for hanging out. G. Lewis is way.
That's
Thanks, man.
Greg.
Peace, man.
Greg is an amazing, like, that young brother. I'm telling you, he is just. I mean, like, like, oh my gosh, he is just absolutely incredible. He is a director and producer and doing really great things in the community, and
Right.
yeah, all over the world. Like, he is, yeah. Once all of this probably settles, Greg Lewis, yeah.
So
be sitting in the
Shout
movies
out to Greg Lewis.
watching his films.
Greg Lewis says, peace, y'all. Alicia Lean 890 says, loving this discussion. Thank you so much. And so
Oh, we
here's
appreciate
the
you, Alicia.
yeah. So here's the next part I want to go to that's right within the same vein. And I want to start it off like this. And this was something I was mentioning to you earlier. Fire drill, right? I want everybody to think about the concept of a fire drill. A fire drill is something that I just thought about the other day. I'm like, oh man, it was like a revelation all over again. The thing about it is that none of us have ever been through this. None of us know what it means to go through a pandemic or epidemic or anything like that. And it's not only what we're talking about as far as being in the eye of the storm or dealing with like the immediate ramifications, but the long tail of it. I was telling somebody the other day that when you have a disaster like a Katrina or some kind of tornado or something like that, it's not just the initial impact, but it's the tail afterwards. So what does this mean in a practical way? Well, when you get down to it, the thing about a fire drill is that we're taught how to channel energy like chi, right? So how to channel energy that's already have like a particular kind of momentum into a positive direction so that it's not chaotic. It's organized so that you can use that to your advantage to be able to do something. So that's the one thing I think about this time, and it's why I have so much deep empathy for so many people. It's like every last person on this earth is affected by this. And it's something that means that in order for us to get through this, not only we got to go way past the cliche, like we just need to come together. Like, nah, this is on some real, like the level of empathy and patience, the level of mindfulness around each other is now forced to skyrocket. But here's the cool part about it. And this is the part that like I've been thinking about this for years. It's like you don't wish anything like slavery or any kind of like tragedies on any of us, right? These have been horrendous things that have happened to us in history. But the one thing that we can't deny that comes out of that is your Martin Luther King, is your freedom fighters, is your Malcolm X, is your people that thrive and grow to another level. That is evolution. So what I'm looking at now is like, okay, here's now when all of the we got to talk, not just talk the talk, but also walk the walk, and really like understand that everybody is dealing with something with this, and in order to get through with it, we have to teach each other how to be able to be in the midst of the fire drill, right, and be on alert and that kind of thing, but have the balance of it not turning into total chaos and anarchy.
Right.
You know?
I think you're spot on. Challenges. And even I don't even want to say challenges. So, but I've kind of tried to come away from using that term, contrast, right? And so contrast things that may not necessarily be what we what we seemingly think that we want, right?
Right.
But that contrast is there, and it's so important because it shows us what we do want, right, and what we are capable of. So I think you are spot on with this being a quote unquote fire drill, right? Like, how are we are walking through this fire, and so really it doesn't really feel all that great. And so what would feel really great would be probably something really cool and wonderful to drink and like to be not be in this fire, right? And so how
Right.
did we get to this point? How do we create and build and create boundaries and set up different mechanisms so that we can live the way that we desire to live, as opposed to just surviving? How do we go from surviving to thriving? And it's
That's
these
right.
types of
So
incidents that I think if we are once again flexible, right? If we're flexible, it
that's the
the
flexibility.
path will be made clear.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. So let me ask you this, all right? Let's take it to the place of like turning it inward. Like, what are some ways that you found to find balance and normalcy in the midst of your life? Like some different things, ways that you found to channel your energy and in order to move through this like in as graceful of a way as possible.
Well, I mean, yoga is a really beautiful practice to me. I mean, yoga got me through. I've always actually been a yogi. I was a dancer when I was younger. And so the body aspect has always has been there. There's a lot of parallels between dancing and yoga, and it's just being, because you're in your physical body, and so there's that connection there. Going even further, right, and really looking at the Patanjali's 8 limbs, and
Right.
What? Do we have South Africa up in here?
Up in the building, in the social distancing building.
That's what I'm talking about, right? We can only distance ourselves but so much, right? Because it doesn't matter. Like, we are one universe. We are one Earth. So it doesn't matter if we are living 5 times. Yeah, So it doesn't matter how far we are, because we are always connected. So what was I talking about? I was talking about what I do. Somebody just finished studying. Someone's about to be an attorney. Anyway, so I was talking about things that I do personally, and for me, meditation is huge. Right. That's something that's physical that I do. And I really, really am big on breath. Right. Being mindful of and connecting, but that breath is my bridge. My breath is my bridge, and so moving it throughout my body in different ways, whether it be doing a breath that allows me to calm myself, or even an energizing breath, like a Kabbalah or something like that. So breath and mindfulness and meditation, and for me also just being aware that this world, there's a rhythm to everything that we do.
Yeah.
And understanding, and we've had this conversation before, right? So understanding that you learn how to surf, right? Even when you're in valley, understanding that valley is not going to last forever. The same as that peak is not going to last forever. So you appreciate it while you're in the moment, whether it be a perceived valley or a perceived peak, and you continue to flow and move through it. And for me, I can even tell from just the physical responses that I have to many things. I can, things would make me anxious, or I'd be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then I'd have this very overt physical response. My heart would start racing. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do this. And now I'm just like, oh, okay, that's what's happening right here. Okay, this is happening. Well, what I really want is for something, what do I want out of this situation that doesn't feel so great right now? And then I even say it, that this situation that feels phenomenal and amazing, what do I want out of that? Right?
Right.
So for me, it's I guess a couple of the physical practice of yoga, the physical practice of my breath, of being mindful and really connecting to my breath in a number of different ways. And then also, the mindfulness and the mindfulness through meditation, and learning how to surf. That is really huge for me. And another big thing that I think is really important that sometimes I think we kind of dismiss is setting boundaries, right? And so I set boundaries not for the other person. I set boundaries for me. And I think we need to know and feel okay with setting boundaries. No matter what we do and no matter where we go. And we can set them in different ways that people will receive them. And it doesn't matter who it is. I set boundaries with my own children. And I expect and teach them to set boundaries with themselves, even as it relates to me. I love it. My
hold on 1 second. Let me say, hold on 1 second. Let me just say hello to a couple people just so we can let them know.
Yes.
Too cool. Lilo to Thrive. Luluwa, I'm sorry. Just Being Collab. Magnificanda. I'm sorry, y'all got bad eyes. Corinne, Eunice, thanks for hanging out. Magnificanda. All right. So, yeah, the boundaries.
So, wait, Aaron, let me just tell you about Magnificanda. Let me tell you about him real quick.
And y'all drop a line. Let us know how your Monday is going. Everybody, drop a line. Let us know how your Monday's going, how your weekend was. Yeah, jump in the combo. So yeah, all right, I'm listening.
So, you want to talk about a hip hop head? That brother from South Africa is a hip hop head.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Lives over out right outside of
But then
Durban. So that's a whole nother
then he
conversation
would
and show.
then he would dig this vibe. Then this is
He certainly would.
so this is a track that I made. It's a remix of a Jay Dilla song. The original song is called Kamal. So I put out this track called Kamal Remix, and so you all can hear it on all of the platforms, the Spotify's, and all of that. Just look up Aaron Hill Kamal Remix, Kamal. Yep, he said Dilla sound. In fact, I'm
Dilla sound.
look up Kamal 2 A's. I'm sorry, auto spell is trying to take away my A's. Remix. Look this up on all the platforms. But yeah, hip hop. Speaking of hip hop, we got something in common. We're gonna have to
what is it?
chop
The
it
light?
up about that one day.
Get it? Did you hear
That's it.
The light. Get it?
Yeah. but the last thing I wanted to say was at least about that part was, okay, so here's the deal, and this is the reason why I asked you that question. What are you doing to have normalcy in your life? Because as we were talking about earlier, it's like there's so many things. The thing that's positive about this, and the reason why, for those that haven't seen it who just jumped in, the reason why I put up this quote today, Corona is taking our creativity to another level, #evolution, because it really is when it comes to us not only doing the things that we know we've been supposed to be doing, but then also us like stepping out of our boxes to go enjoy life in a different way, to be able to express and be mindful in a different way. You know how many people after this are not going to have any questions or problems with washing their hands before they eat, or realizing or thinking about how many times they touch their face? I mean,
Which
to
I
be
just did.
honest, in many ways, but what we're talking about here, and this is why I asked you that question. Yeah. Rough week. Glad to catch a positive vibe. Thank you so much.
You were talking, that's a brilliant sister. I've known her since we were teenagers in the ATL, and she is brilliant, and it's okay. And so I'm so glad that you're here, because I'm praying that there's something that you'll hear, that you'll feel, and take with you.
Love it. So, mindfulness has become one of my absolute favorite words this year and last year. And for those that don't know and aren't familiar with me, my name is Aaron Hill, and my concept, or at least my YouTube channel, is called Aaron Hill TV, and it's where I try to broadcast daily music, motivation, information, humor, like what I know, I try to share everything I learn. But my point in saying that is one of the things I've been sharing recently is my self-care journey. And I always like to turn around information and teach what I learned, because I believe that the best thing you can do is share information.
I'm eating healthy chips.
So, I've been sharing my self-care journey, and on a daily basis talking about meditation and mindfulness and these kind of things. And the one thing about it is that, we're being forced now to move to another level of mindfulness around ourselves and around each other and around the world around us. And that's my deal as an optimist. My deal is like, okay, this is what it is. We have to take it in stride. We have to be patient. I have to, I'm going to make it clear again on this live stream, like something that I've been saying that we need to wrap our brains around. This is not going to be a 2-week thing. This is not going to be a 4-week thing, because we're talking about stages and levels to this thing. And we're talking about something that we've never been through in life. And it's not just about the eye of the storm, because the economic cleanup afterwards and all of the domino effects that hit, we are going to have to put into not just practice, but application, like everything that we talk about regularly around patience, around mindfulness, around empathy, around these things. And so that's the growth part that I'm excited about because I'm like, all hands on deck. So every last one of us out here and everybody that's on this live stream that has something to say around like positivity and mindfulness and these kind of things, like we have to be our own therapist and all like help each other, to toe this line. So
I think you're right. I
yeah,
think also being patient with ourselves in this
yeah,
is going to be, I mean, that's crucial. Like, we can't be patient with other people. I say that all the time. We can't be patient with others if we can't be patient with ourselves. Even those of us
right,
who understand and know better, there are times, I mean, just like, oh gosh, I was, the incident in the grocery store. I felt terrible afterwards. I really did. Right? I had
yeah,
to
yeah,
set a
yeah,
boundary that didn't feel comfortable well, it's a boundary that was necessary, but it
right.
wasn't it took me out of a space of
So
connecting to my higher
you gotta
power.
So you got to go ahead and contextualize it because this
Oh,
is one
so
to
everybody know what
really
happened.
teach people.
So this was like,
What had
so
happened was
what had happened
but you
was,
have to, yeah, you have to start it off. In fact, that's gonna be a that's gonna be a
so what
segment
had
that I have.
happened? Me and Ern,
Exactly.
me and Ern,
What?
if you from Baltimore, you understand. Me and Ern, hello, what's up, what's up? Me and Ern was in the grocery store. And we were preparing to go and take a walk and just enjoy it was a lovely day, and just because I hope people are getting out and moving, so we had gone to the grocery store to just pick up a few snacks. I had gone in to pick up a few snacks for my children, and I guess all the stores have these masking tape lines now on the floor that are supposed to denote 6 feet apart. Anyways, but the thing is that we were in an aisle that was close to, I guess, one of the lines, and I didn't know it was a line. I don't even know how it all happened. Nonetheless, all I know is I was clear I was having a conversation about ginger beer and some other type of organic, healthy, very low in sugar soda that would mix well with
Yeah.
some liquor that I have in my house. Let me tell y'all about this yogi right here. I don't play games. I am all about balance. Okay? All right. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, and the soda is quite delicious mixed in. But anyways, this gentleman
Right.
was
He wasn't so gentle though. So I don't even know
he
how you could give
wasn't.
him the.
So,
I mean,
and I'm saying
you're
gentleman,
nice.
I'm using that because I'm just going to connect to his higher power. At the
I was gonna
time,
say,
I wasn't
and you.
connecting to it. I just want to, and because, I'm going to put that on him. So, anyways,
Right.
this gentleman decided, I guess he felt as though he had some sort of privilege over me and wanted to set me straight about my social distancing practice. So apparently, I was too close to someone who was in line. Honestly, and we were not. I don't even know what was going on, because all I know is this dude starts pointing and talking at me and telling me that I'm too close and I need what I need to do and what I need to back up. And let me tell you, all of a sudden, so let me explain something to all of y'all who may or may not know. I was still raised in Walbrook Junction, 2209 Allendale Road, and something just,
Right.
like, I could feel the fire. It just was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Who are you talking to? I know you're not talking to me, right? So, like, I was very clear about the boundary that I was setting and that he needed to mind his own business. Aaron checked me because I was really excited. I didn't use any words that were not loving, but I was very firm with him
Right.
about how he needed to
No
mind
way.
his own god daggone business and that I wasn't
Right.
talking to him. And
Right.
I don't know who he think he was talking to, because he clearly had just, because I don't know what was going on with him. And so, like, that built something up in me because there was a number of things that were going on, right? There was this white man who was telling me, who I totally was not even being mindful. I wasn't paying him any attention.
Yeah.
And so there was that was going on, and then all of this stuff.
Oh my God.
There's so much xenophobia going on, and people are
Yeah.
using this as an
And,
excuse to
right.
be totally inappropriate and to their own prejudice. And I'm just not the one for it, because when I see it, I'm gonna call it out. So, anyways, yeah.
Right.
So it was a lot, and but then
Yeah.
afterwards, I was really I was upset with my own self because
Greg
I felt
Olson, what's
like
up, homie?
I disconnected from my higher from source energy, and I wasn't being really fully mindful of what was going on in that moment. And so
All right. Well, can I give you a second opinion?
give me a second
Before you
opinion.
before you shut that door and seal that letter and lick that joint and seal it, I will say that actually you were very much on point. You handled it in the really good way. And that's the reason why
Thank
I
you.
even brought it up and asked you to tell the story. Because the truth of the matter is, again, like I was talking about earlier, everybody is affected by this. And so it means that different people are going to be responding and reacting and doing things in a different kind of way. So it's up to people like yourself and how you handle that to have this balance, to be able to set things straight while at the same time and making things clear while at the same time being mindful in the midst of it, realizing like you kept saying, which is why you were so apologetic even about it, because you recognize what this time is. You recognize what people are dealing with. You have that kind of respect and mindfulness around people. So like real talk, that was the reason why I even brought it up, because this is on a broader scale what I wanted to just kind of end this part off with, which is like we're gonna we're gonna see a lot going through this from each other, and in order for us, like, many things are reactionary based on the scenario, based on the times, based on the circumstances. So one of the things I talk about in my self-care videos is like, in order for us to help each other with our behaviors, is we have to be able to have things like equanimity and patience. We have to be able to be tight within ourselves so that we could be there for our brother, our sister, whoever. And that's why I say what I say, because even though you checked them and you checked them well, but you still were there for him, because even in sending a message to let him know, like, no, this is not how you handle this kind of thing, and this won't be tolerated. So that way, maybe, just maybe, you planted the seed so that he might think twice before he does it to someone else. And again, if you relate this back to being kids and a fire drill, this is no different than running a fire drill and one of the kids gets out of line and acts up. You set him in line or her in line, so that way the next time they had the fire drill, they might have a little bit more capacity to realize, like, okay, I shouldn't do that. So it's just that balance that I can't speak about enough, where we need any time in life, but especially during times where it takes twice the patience, twice the understanding, twice the patience with ourselves. It's like,
Well, I
that's just what
appreciate
it is.
you for that, Aaron, because that was an interesting experience, and I appreciate you for that, because I did. I was a little. I did. When I am moving through a journey just like everyone else, um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think there's totally another way that it could have been handled. Of course, maybe next time he'll say, hey, be mindful. I know you may not realize that you're close to someone or whatever.
Yeah.
I think maybe those
Have
types of
another way.
things. Maybe if I don't know, he kept staring at me even afterwards. I was like, yo, do you want my attention? Like, what part? You don't
Yeah.
want this attention. You don't want this. So,
And it
like,
and it and it may just literally have been
yes,
he
Laura, the
just could.
yin and yang. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah, he just couldn't
responding to
believe.
someone.
It might even been that he couldn't believe that you said what you said in the way that you said it. Like, you could have you could have come off a whole different way. I think it. I like to say this. Like one of my quotes that I have is like, "Be a happy seed planter, not a stressed out gardener." The
Yeah.
deal is like you planted the seed, right? By checking things in a way that you needed to and giving him something else to think about next time he thinks about doing that. I really think he might have been looking at you from the perspective of like, wow, like I can't even knock her for how she just, yeah, like you just never know. But all you did what you needed to do. You planted the seed. Magnificonda says social distancing is necessary. What's going to strike a balance is putting humanity in it. The other party is supposed to know what time it is because really COVID-19 is real. Striking a balance. That's exactly what it is. Buddha Grace says the yin and the yang of the universe. That's it. Alice says the real Alice Snow says some people need to be checked and put on point. Ashe. That is definitely that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. So one thing I want to do here. So first of all, I want to say thank you everybody for hanging out for my Mood Mondays live stream. This is something that I do on most Mondays when I'm doing it, and when I'm not doing it, which means I'm consistent at times. But I always have
And then
fun
you're not.
doing this show. Right, except for when I'm not. I always
Except
have
for
fun
when you're
doing the
not.
show, and this is the first time I've ever actually brought somebody on the show too. And since Facebook took the way to do this off, I'm doing this on Instagram, which is kind of fun because I haven't been on Instagram like that as much. What I want to do here is actually tell who you are from another perspective and talk about the project that we were able to collaborate on because that's fun too. So you know we wound up connecting recently in the midst of you looking for music for your first children's book, which I might add is amazing. Um,
Thank you.
and yeah, and so yeah, I guess I wanted you to tell a little bit about just that, like the book and what it is and where you are with it, and then we could talk about the audiobook that we put together.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, actually. As you know, March and April were supposed to be these, like March especially, was supposed to launch at all these really great readings and events and speaking engagements
Right.
that were prepared. That of course got sidetracked, but it's okay. We'll pick it back up when it's
Right.
time. But it's all right. So yes, I wrote my first children's book. It is called Sunflower's Breath. And if you follow me on at 111 lit 111 lit, thank you, the real Alice Snow, at 111 lit on Instagram, or even if you go to 111lit.com, you can purchase the book. I'm also J Bell at 111 lit on YouTube. I'm going to actually upload the audio that I'll get to. So yeah, it is. I'm really excited about it because the book really was birthed through my meditation process. I was
Right.
in a space of stillness. This book actually, it was like there's a whole story behind me and writing, and this was my first attempt to be more open with my writing. I've always been a writer, and I kept it really close because of an experience that I had actually with a teacher who made me feel really self-conscious about my writing. And this was when I was a child. And so anyways, so now this thing I birthed Sunflower's Breath, which I will say a lot of that also came from, I spent uh, to December and January 2019 was my first time going to South Africa. And it was such a life-changing experience. And so the book pays homage to that. The characters, actually, it's a family that is multicultural. I grew up in a multicultural house, growing up with an African father and an American mother, and always feeling like I had these really dynamic cultural experiences. I always knew that I was a little black girl, But
Right.
also things I had just really different experiences than some of the kids who were in the neighborhood with me, and also to some of the kids who I went to school with, because I had a really interesting school experience as well. So, anyways, from that, all of that birthed this book about this 11-year-old girl. Her name is Sunflower Utando, and I use breath to help people connect to themselves and to each other. So, one of the things that's really dynamic about the book is that the person who is reading the book and receiving
Mm-hmm.
it, and also the person who is reading it to someone else who is offering the book, uh, you have this really beautiful physiological experience and also a spiritual experience. So,
Okay.
essentially, when you're reading the book, you are connecting to your breath. The way the book is written,
Yeah.
you are slowing your breath down, you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system. That is that part of your body that is rest and restore and helps you to heal and to grow and to just be mindful of the love that you have for yourself and for others. So, yeah, so that book was
Okay.
released in January. And so that's when
January.
I came to Aaron and I was like, I want a
January
really
specific.
beautiful January
What date
11th.
and why
January
January
11th.
11th?
January 11th, 111, to all my folks who understand universal energy, to all my folks who understand numbers, you know that 111 is a very spiritual number. And it is also my birthday. So I was born on January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born, and my weight was 7'11". And my family, 11 is huge, right? I was born on Jan 111. My business partner and sister, she's 2'11". My other sister's 3'11". My grandmother's 4'11". My other sister's 6'11". So I'm just like surrounded by 11. So 111 is so when you think of 111, you think of a higher spirituality. You think of
Okay.
an understanding on a light worker level, a light on an angelic level. It's an angel number. It's one of the angel numbers. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, and I just happened to be born on January the 11th.
Okay. Okay.
And so 111
So
Literature is also a publishing company that a publishing consortium that I put together with the book. So the book is independently published through 111 Literature, which I'm really excited about. So I'm also able to help other writers. Um, what's really interesting though now is that it actually has garnered a lot of attention from some of the larger publishing houses.
mhm.
There's talks with the second book. So this will be a series of books, but that other book will be the possibility of it being picked up by someone else. I'm kind of working with an agent now, but I don't know because I like the idea of this
Okay.
being mine, you know. But nonetheless,
Well, you the beginning stages of it. You just
yeah.
that's the thing that's exciting about this. It's off to a really great start. As soon as I read the book, in fact, I'll go ahead and
Wait, do you have the book?
pull out my.
Wait, I got a copy too. Wait, it's over here. That's her. That's it. That's somebody. And so what's really beautiful about the book that I mean, I'm like, yeah, okay, like I'm gonna like
Now I
big up
gotta,
my
I
book.
gotta like.
But it also the illustrations, yes, real Alice No. 1111 is
How is your
actually a
internet
spiritual level
faster
of
than
ascension.
mine? Your internet is not supposed to be faster than mine when it's my show. You actually see in the comments before they pop up. You sure you got does telepathy go with
Because
this
this I
111
just
thing?
said
Okay,
when we just
so
talking
I'm
about
trying
111. I told
so
you. All
I'm
right,
trying to
right.
model the book. I'm
Thank
trying
you.
to model the book while you're talking. Like I'm trying to
Yes, and so the
like I can't.
illustrations, the an absolutely magnificent artist. Her name is Latoya Peoples. She has worked all over the world now, and she
Okay.
has quite a few murals in Baltimore City. And so she's from Philly. but she resides in
Right.
Baltimore, so she illustrated the book. I'm so honored. Samantha Reed, who is a publisher of young adult literature, she's, well, not a publisher, sorry, she's a writer, she's an author of young adult literature, and I just so happened to go to college with her. She is the editor of this book, so she can be found in Barnes and Nobles. Just so, like, it's just really exciting because this book was written, illustrated, edited, and published by Black women. And
Love it.
that is huge. It's huge. And
Right.
I'm just really honored to be in the universal energy with that. That's
She's
me.
coming. She's coming for no.
It's
Okay.
me.
So here's the deal, right? So here's the deal. I'm really excited about this,
Yes.
and a number of things that I tell you that I see coming out of this. So one of the things that happened is that in January I got a call from Andrea, because she was doing her first reading and she was interested in music. And so I was like, yeah, that'd be really cool because with the new music that I've been making, in fact, I'll play a little bit in the background for you all before it's all over with. Um, with the music that I was making, I wanted, my music has a number of different places that it can connect with. And so whether it's for therapy, for meditation or sleep or for, de-stressing and that kind of thing. And so I was looking for more opportunities for my music to become a part of those kind of projects. So when Andrea reached out to me, I was like, I'd be more than happy. And when I looked at the title of the book, I was like, oh, I think I have something that would be great for that. And that's what I'm playing in the background right now. This was a song that I wrote called Breath of Life. It's a piano meditation. And so when she came through to the studio, I was like, okay, I'm going to play this because I really think this would be the first choice, even though I have several different songs to choose from. And so it immediately worked. And I really felt like it would work because I also wrote a guided meditation to this. And the guided meditation is called Breathe Deeply. In fact, that's on YouTube. That's on my YouTube channel, Aaron Hill TV, if anybody wants to check it out. But because I wrote a guided meditation to this about breathing, and then I wrote the music to like breathe with the message. When I heard breath in the title of the book, I was just like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And so, yeah, I let you listen to it. Like it was like
Perfect. It
immediately
was perfect.
you played it, you know.
Which, and that is like,
And,
that's like that universal energy, right? That's what I love. When we talk about, I don't believe anything is coincidence.
mm-hmm,
Everything is very intentional, whether we realize it or not. And
mm-hmm.
one of the
Love you
things
too.
that
My extremely talented black family. I love you. Yeah.
I'm
Go
not sure
ahead,
who
keep
that is,
going.
but I love you too.
Ika.
And thank you so much, the real Alice Snow. Thank you. Oh, I so appreciate you. I can feel your energy. Thank you. Um, so yeah, the fact that all of this was kind of like Aaron and I hadn't spoken to you in years, Aaron, right?
Right.
When I came to you, it was like, I mean, I think some mutual friends of ours, I had done some work with them recently. I did a yoga retreat in June, and they, we had connected, but you and I hadn't spoken to you in a really long time. So the fact that it was like you had, like, this was brewing and coming up
I was in the
in
same
your
place.
spirit,
Yeah.
and then this was over here, and then it was like the perfect timing that it came together. And so it was just really, I am so appreciative to, number one, just have.
Somebody told me they're kicking people off of Instagram after an hour or so. I think that's what just happened in my broadcast. But this picks up where we continue, we'll continue with this. This is Breath of Life. I'll continue playing it in the background. And yeah, this was written for the meditation Breathe Deeply, which I'm proud of because at this point, there's so many people that all over the world is just listening to this pretty regularly. And especially during this time when filter on before Andrea joins me again. Yeah, knock this all off. I think though, Alice.
Hey, I don't know what happened. We all got kicked off, but guess what? We back. 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 We back.
So, I think the reason why we got kicked off is because
Why are we too long?
is in the building. Okay, so we're back, and I did that for Alice because I was messing with Alice earlier. So look, here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. Somebody told me that after like an hour or something, it kicks
We
you
were
off
talking that long. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like when you just kind of come together sometimes, it feels like we were only talking for like maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. Like, you know, when you come together and it's good, meaningful conversation, you just be like, yo, what are you talking about?
So here's the.
I love you, the real Alice Snow. When can I meet Alice? He's amazing. Thank you.
Alice is cool.
Yeah, so absolutely amazing. Thank you. I really truly appreciate it.
So when I let so we're picking up where we left off when I let Andrea hear this song, you know, we both realized like it just made sense. It was like magic that came together with the story and with the music. And by the way, one of the reasons why we're telling you this is because you can actually go to YouTube and experience it soon because she's getting ready to put it on her site.
I'm posted up tonight after this. It's going to be on.
This is the motivation.
On Julia Bell. Wait, Aaron, am I Julia Bell or am I J Bell now? Because you told me to change it. I know, right? So Aaron was telling me because I'm trying. So I think it's on Julia Bell. It's Julia Bell 111 lit.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think you had J Bell 111 lit last time I saw it.
I did, because that's my Twitter handle, but it's Julia Bell now.
Okay. So when I let you hear this song, you know, besides the fact that musically it made sense and, you know, and it made sense with the story. She was looking at the screen and looking at the name and she said, wait a minute, why does that have an 11 next to it? Because the length of the song, and I just did it and it just happened to come out that way. It was 11 minutes. But not only that, the size of the file was like 111.1 megabytes.
Right?
And
that's not a coincidence. Like, what?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. That's life. That's all life is. This is what I tell people, right? Serendipity plus intention.
I think I hear it so much now. I just know it.
It equals life. So, you know, the deal is, like I always say, you know, it's just like with 11. 12 is just as significant, except for when it's not. And the beauty of it to me, though, is that we can actually understand our power in it and allow it to, you know, do what it's doing. So, I mean, here it is. You got that. And so this comes together as something that I'm really excited about because...
Yes, Alice, Source is speaking.
Y'all gonna chop it up soon. This will be...
Yeah, I know. I just need to go and sit with Alice. We just need to chat.
Yeah. So, yeah, but anyway, with that, you know, I wanted to really tell people about that aspect of who you are and what you're doing. And the last but not least with that is that I'm having a lot of fun working with you and helping you with, you know, content, as I like to call creative content strategy, and just thinking about things that's for your message and for your brand and all of the aspects of who you are and what you do. Because, yeah, it's just, you know, we have this technology, and the thing that we're all learning now, and for those that didn't see it before, I'm going to do it one more time. This is where it's all coming together. The corona is taking our creativity to another level. So the vibe is that right now we are using every aspect of communication, every aspect of technology, every aspect of what we have and what we know to be able to try to cope with our lives and help other people cope as well. So I'm excited because I'm a person that now everybody, I've been screaming from the rooftops, like, you should tell your story. If you got something to share around self-care, you should say it to people. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about people judging you. Like, if you just tell it like it is, like, people will accept it. Trust me, it's happening to me, you know. And now people are like really embracing it with open arms because they're they have to find, they're bored, you know, or they unfortunately aren't working right now, and so they have more time, or they can continue to work, but they have to shift their business from just being a physical brick and mortar business to now also having a digital or virtual side to it. And so, you know, take it for what it is. You know, change is not comfortable, and it definitely takes a lot to go through it, but change is always for the better, especially when it comes to us pulling together and using our resources to really better our quality of life and the quality of life of the people around us. Now we got to do is treat the damn earth better. And we'll be good somewhere.
So, right,
So
but you know
yeah.
what's so funny about that is that all of this and people using less resources, the carbon footprint has been less. You know, I don't know if you saw, like, people, like, they had shown the satellites that showed. Excuse me, y'all. That's allergies. So I don't want nobody saying, "Oh, she was coughing on the
Back,
live."
and that's like, where the
I just
finish
got
button?
allergies. That's
Where's
it.
the
It just
stop
got a little tickle in my throat. That's it. A little tickle in my throat. But yeah, like the areas that were just heavily polluted are now
Yeah.
clearing up. So I think, you know, we needed this, right? I feel like part of it, this too, is just the universe being like, sit y'all behinds down. Like, we go, okay, so now we got to sit you down. Time out for all of y'all. You know, people aren't driving in their cars. You know, as much. There's fewer cars on the road. You know, you know, I would hope that people are in the house being mindful of energy and water usage. Um, you know, all of those things. So you're right. If we could just treat the earth better, I think that's great, because the thing about it is that the earth is so like we have to start listening and understanding. I mean, like, you guys can kind of
Well,
see
we're going to be
behind me,
forced
like,
to.
my
The
house
thing
is
is, we're going
every area of my house is filled with plants, because like
to.
they bring in energy, and beauty and life that is so important. And we've just been, you know, we haven't been respectful of our forests, of our indigenous lands. And so now, you know, it really is, it's time for us to stop and think about what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I just want to
The
thank
best
you,
part
Aaron,
sometimes.
for this opportunity,
Mhm.
but even just thank you, like, so, you know, from the time we connected with the music and the book, um and, you know, believe it or not, you know, I I don't like being in front of the camera. I don't, you know, I wasn't, I Aaron had, I've been really coming outside of my comfort zone. Really? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's how you.
Outside of my
That's
comfort zone.
that's literally how you make it happen. Yeah, you literally
Yeah, I
have to
know, right?
definitely.
To do things like this, I was always one of, like, I'm not going to be on video. I would take photos, I would, because I would model and still do things, you know, but there's still a level of control there, that others have. And I don't know, I'm sure my face is in different places, and images of me doing yoga and dance studios, I know some places and stuff like that. And that's fine. I can deal with that. But like this like direct face to face thing, it would
Yeah.
like cause me to just kind of like just kind of it's kind of
Insecurities.
jarring to me. Yeah. But I've
Insecurities.
been definitely working with Aaron, who's, and this has been, I really appreciate your energy, and
No
your
doubt.
words of wisdom and kindness, and support, and your genius, to really help me be more, to be like, yeah, go ahead, go, no, do this. And you know what I mean? I listen.
You know, this is the thing. So, you know, and this is the thing I'll end on. I wanna figure out. I got to figure out a game to play with y'all. So everybody who's watching now, one of the things that I want to do, I'm going to start doing on my Move Mondays. I'm completely overhauling my Mood Mondays. It used to just be about catching up on my weekend and me just talking about what I did and then finding out about your weekend. It's still going to be that, but I also want to take it a step further from the perspective of us just having good, healthy escape. So I want to find a really, really fun game for all of us to play on Mood Mondays. And I'm gonna first start it off as a live stream like this, and then if it makes sense to make it like one big huge Zoom kind of thing, then I will. But I'm saying that to say, if you all can, while I close out this last part with Andrea before we jump to the next piece, can you start dropping some ideas as far as some games that you think would be fun? Just drop that in there. But what I wanted to say in conclusion is, I'm the type of person where my life is built around what I would say is the famous Mahalia Jackson model. If I can help somebody, then my living is not in vain. And since I
Yeah.
already know my living isn't in vain, then I just say I'll spend my time helping people. Um, when I believe in someone or when I believe in a dream or goal or legacy, I just can't help myself. As Michael Jackson said, even if I wanted to. And the thing I realized as I've gotten into this place of sharing all that I've learned over the years to help people in entrepreneurship and business and branding and marketing, and it literally boils down to one thing. It's literally just all here. It's just mindset. It's psychology. So I realize most of the time I'm really just helping people to accept themselves on another level. I'm helping people to actually just believe in themselves and understand their self-worth and not judge themselves or not worry about judgment. Like it's all just that kind of psychological stuff. So yeah, that's the part that's the most exciting for me. And a lot of times I feel like an A&R rep who can see a person's dream and then from there just say, okay, I'm going to have fun helping them to have greater and greater levels of accepting themselves. So that's what it is. Because honestly, what I realize is we basically, this is why this evolution is happening through this medium and through social media, and even why I wanted to do this way, because we are we built a world where we taught ourselves how not to really accept ourselves at the purest level, and we set up all of these standards and all of these gatekeepers that said basically you had to look this way or be this way to come through this opportunity, and because that was the case, we all were used to either being one trick ponies or not being able to value ourselves for who we truly are, or feel like we had to be picture perfect and all of these things. The truth of the matter is that was never the case. And now we're finally just getting to the point where we're having to just accept ourselves and stop judging ourselves and each other so much. So I like to take strides every day in being vulnerable because it actually makes me invincible. It like if anybody wants to learn how to be invincible, just be as vulnerable as possible, and then you
Wow.
realize you have nothing to worry about because everybody else is the same as you. They're dealing with different things, and to be honest, you have no idea how your light, as small as you might think it is, or as insignificant how you might think it is, how it actually can help and inspire someone. So I'm just optimistic enough to allow that to happen and to not be afraid to make silly faces in the process. So, yeah.